Good morning, y'all. Welcome to week 2, and today we're going to be learning about Ujjayi breath. Now, first off, I just want to congratulate you guys so far on following through with these different daily challenges. I hope that you enjoyed getting into the sun salutation. I know that it can be a little bit intimidating to jump into new exercises and new things. But I hope that when you did it, you felt some of the benefits. Thank you for coming here and taking the time today to learn about Ujjayi breath. Ujjayi breath is a very, very powerful breath. It is one of my favorite breaths that I practice on a daily basis, on and off the mat. It has helped me keep my calm and to calm my nervous system and control my emotions in a positive way numerous times since I've learned it. Sometimes when I've gone out surfing and I got caught in waves, or as being like rolled around, I was you reach this level of panic, and if you panic you can drown. So I was able to drop down into this Ujjayi breath, lower my breath down into using the yogic breath that we did the other day, learning how to move the energy down, as well as just that calm, keeping that calm of counting in and out and just like going deep into this breath, because it helps to move energy. It helps when you're like lifting weights. It's helped me one time. I like hardly ever get infections, but I think it was like maybe 9 years ago or something. I went on a cruise and I did the whole fun. I'm on a romantic cruise, sex after the hot tub, get the UTI type of thing. And it was so painful and it hurt to breathe. And so, but I was able to drop down into this like low, deep breaths and have this like a lot of energy moving without having to move my body. A lot of pain in your body, this could help you. Also, if you need to control your emotions. So whether or not you're almost drowning or I've noticed it a lot because I live in an ocean, and so I'm in the water a lot, that this breath has saved myself so many times. One time I was like snorkeling, and when you're in snorkeling, you go into your own little world and you kind of forget about what's going on with you. So it can be kind of dangerous, because all of a sudden you look up and you're like almost going to crash into some like rocks with a bunch of barnacles and like pokey things on it. Or all of a sudden you're surrounded by really, really big fish, which maybe isn't dangerous, but as someone who doesn't know about these fish and like know which ones are, if they're nice or not, sometimes it can be a little bit overwhelming. So again, just going into my breath, calming myself down, connecting to my faith that everything's going to be good, and then just navigating myself away from the potential dangers. So being able to control your breath and is such an essential part. Also with your emotions, whether you get too excited. For me, I get too excited and I talk really quickly. This often happens even in these videos. And just taking a moment just to come into the breath, allowing the breath to slow the system down, and allowing myself to slow my energy down is really supportive. So maybe I should try to talk like that for the rest of the class as well. So Ujjayi breath, it's a Sanskrit word, Ujjayi, and it comes from a couple other words that would be kind of like victorious, a victorious breath. So, or like the breath of victory. And this is because the technique brings a sense of upliftment, power, and confidence to you. So, and I do really feel that. I feel really powerful after I do this breath. Now, when I was taking this, a course on Ujjayi, this breath in India, like 10 or 11 years ago, I found it kind of challenging. But at that moment, I also had a lot of stuff going on. I was traveling by myself, and just in India, it can be quite overwhelming. There's just a lot of people. If you don't speak the language, there's a lot of unknowns. And I landed up into this like place all by myself. I landed in the middle of the night. There's only one other woman on the whole entire bus. So we sat together, and then I went with her to where she was staying, and she was staying at this free ashram. But it was lovely, but also very, very dusty. It was very cold. The water was cold. There's no hot water. It was just like a lot of things. So I kind of developed like, it was like allergies or cold, or just, it was like my body not feeling comfortable. So I kind of was just like, kind of like sick without, yeah, like it was kind of like had like a cold, my body just felt like uncomfortable, and I needed to be nourished. And when I first started this breathing, I was having so much troubles doing it. My mind was very vitiated. I had like a vata imbalance, so I was hard to keep my focus. And I think my immune system was so weak that it was also hard to keep up with the breath, keep up with the class. But I tried, and I kept going every day. And by the end of it, it was a little bit better. But the real magic happened was when I just kept putting this into my daily practice. And then 3 months later, I went back to India, and I went to a yoga course, and like a yoga teacher training course. And it was 1 month. And each day we woke up at 6 o'clock in the morning. At 6:30, we're doing kriyas, like cleansing stuff. And then we went into our day. We had 2 different yoga classes, meditation class, a philosophy class, karma yoga. And we went until like 10 o'clock at night. So it was like really intense 31 days. And one of the classes during that month was Ashtanga yoga every day. Well, 6 days a week was Ashtanga yoga. And in Ashtanga yoga, they use this breath as well. So I had an hour of practice of this breath for 31 days. And after that, I was like pro. I would say like I mastered it. So after the 31 days, I really embodied this breath, and then it just became part of me, became part of how I breathe, part of the tools in my belt. And also, I really noticed that when I went back and was working in the power plant and had like the face mask on, and or even just like the half mask on, and sometimes we'd be doing things and they get wet, and so it was really hard to breathe through the wet filters. And or sometimes like you're in spots where you're like with the air lance like this, and you're crouched down or you're on your belly and you're crawling around and you're like doing things or hammering things, and like you're really constricted in your body, and constricted in like being able to sit up tall and have your deep breaths. And knowing this breath really, really helped me. I remember like, yeah, this was already like, it was after I went to yoga. So, I mean, it's after I went to India. So it was like I don't know, let's say it was like 6 years ago. I was, the first days of the overhaul, you had to go in and we had to clean out things. And I think you had to go and clean out the different cells. And I was in this cell with this like air lance, and my legs are like this, and you can hardly move, and you're just trying your best to do a good job. And I just like, what the heck am I doing here? Like, why did I come back? What, like, to do like this? So it's almost impossible to do this. And then I was just like, wait, whatever, I got this, I'm doing this. Flip the narrative of like, oh, poor me, and what the hell am I doing, into after I shed a tear, because it was really impossible sometimes. If I shift the narrative, I was like, okay, actually, I chose to do this. It's not that bad. Just pretend that it's yoga. Pretend that this is like an asana. Get into proper posture. Try to make your body as good as it can, and breathe through this. And then I did it, and all of a sudden I got into a flow. I was able to switch my tools around and like switch the cord, and like I figured out an easy way to put the cord down and then support it on my body, and just move my body with my breath, using my breath to help move me. And it calmed me down, and then it actually kind of became fun. And then I got into what all those jobs are really about, is like, I think that how people can actually finish is that you get pride, you see the light at the end of the tunnel. And so using that breath, it allowed me to connect to myself, it allowed me to calm myself down, and even enjoy the process. And that is why I want to show you guys these breaths, this breath in particular. Also, the reason that breathing is so important is it helps you detox the system. Obviously,